Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the Chicago Cubs. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Head to your Hyundai dealer and make this a winning season at home and on the road. By Spectrum, join America's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice provider. By Lexus, experience amazing. By Heineken, open your world. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, more science, less fear. And by Land Rover, above and beyond. Mets and the world champion Cubs getting together at Citi Field. The first night, it was Jacob deGrom against John Lackey. Mets defense started poorly, finished strong, but deGrom was the story, a complete game 5-hitter, the Mets' first complete game of the year. Not so much fortune for Zach Wheeler. Anthony Rizzo, the leadoff home run. John Lester gets his 150th win. A rough night for Wheeler all the way around. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight for the rubber game of the three-game series between the Mets and the Cubs. You know, we came into this series with two teams that made the postseason last year, Cubs world champions, Mets wild card, both underperforming badly. The Mets laid down their marker on Monday with their fourth straight win on the strength of strong pitching. Last night, it was the Cubs who dominated.
Well, the Cubs are at 500 right now and only one game off the pace. The opening game of this series, we were just stunned up here on how flat they looked and lifeless. Joe Madden, the manager, shuffled the deck, led off Rizzo, and the leadoff spot hits a leadoff home run. Boom, the Cubs get 15 hits and 5 home runs, have a big offensive night. Rizzo's leading off again tonight. It'll be very interesting to see how the Cubs respond to this, the same lineup basically, and how Matt Harvey responds to the Cubs.
And what about Harvey? 5 scoreless innings his last time out in Atlanta. Was that a big step forward?
I think it was a little step forward, not a big step forward, but really it's a tipping point game for me to watch him pitch tonight. His fastball command has been kind of fleeting. Curveballs for strikes have been good at times. His slider in his last start was the first time that I saw it, a swing and miss pitch, and his changeup, he hasn't really thrown it enough. I think that he's going to have to go back to that toolbox, throw more breaking balls, more off-speed pitches to set up that fastball. If he does that, he could have success like deGrom.
The Nationals are coming to town tomorrow night. First, the Mets try and get themselves a series victory against the defending world champions. It's the Mets and the Cubs from Citi Field. All the action coming your way tonight right here on Pix 11. Mets for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at Mets.com/vote. and catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th live on Fox. Themes of the game brought to you by Hyundai. Wilmer Flores getting a start against the left-hander Mike Montgomery tonight. He is hitting well over 350 against lefties this year. The Cubs hit 5 home runs last night, tied the Citi Field record. Only 2 of their visitors have done that. And Matt Harvey, first game this season without allowing a run, first game without allowing an extra base hit against the Braves on Friday night. He will try and keep that going here tonight. Harvey and the Mets on a gorgeous night in New York. Come on back. First pitch, Mets and Cubs coming right up. Role in the leadoff spot last night. Anthony Rizzo right back up there again tonight. Javier Baez, who didn't start last night, gives Addison Russell a day off at shortstop. Miguel Montero starts for the first time in this series. He'll hit cleanup. Pitcher hits 8th as the Cubs and Mets play the rubber game of the series. And Matt Harvey get his warm-ups, and you get the close-up look at Matt's warm-ups to Travis d'Arnaud.
First of the night.
I really love those themes of the game today. I missed them. What were they again? I forgot.
Next time, arrive a little earlier.
That's right.
By the way, you see his shoulder there. That is Ryan Addison, the home plate umpire. He's only been in the big leagues for a month. It'll be the first look we get at him as a home plate umpire.
I saw him once in spring training, but you know, spring training games to me don't even count. So we'll see him here in tonight's game. You know, I think for Harvey, as you look at his numbers, the key is in his last start. It's his first game he started without giving up an extra base hit. 5 home runs last night by the Cubs. He's given up 13 this year. He's got to keep the ball in the park to win tonight.
And we'll take a look at the Nissan Mets defense. Lagares, of course, getting a lot more playing time now in center field. Cespedes, a designed day off. Rivera, 14th start at first base. And d'Arnaud now catches up with Rene Rivera. They both have 29 games started behind the dish.
By the way, Michael Conforto, 3rd straight game on the sidelines, but feeling much better with his stiff back. And the anticipation is that he will be available to pinch hit tonight and perhaps back in the lineup as soon as tomorrow. The Mets are facing a 2nd straight lefty tonight. They'll face a 3rd straight lefty tomorrow when Gio Gonzalez faces them. And the Nats come to town for a 4-game series. Nats are getting blown out by the Braves today, by the way, 13-2 in the ninth. So they're going to come in here having lost 5 of their last 6. Anthony Rizzo leads off. Rizzo hit the second pitch of the game out of the ballpark against Zach Wheeler last night in his first game as a leadoff hitter. And Harvey's first pitch tonight is hit in the air to center field, and that's hit well. Back goes Lagares to the warning track near the wall, and Rizzo has done it again. This time on the first pitch of the night. Can you believe that? He has remade the leadoff spot in his own image. Anthony Rizzo. His 15th home run of the year. His second straight leadoff home run in his first 2 games ever as a leadoff hitter. And the Cubs strike first again behind their suddenly leading off first baseman.
But talk about leading, grabbing the flag and saying, follow me. 42nd career first pitch home run. Boy, this guy is something else. Oh, I heard that. He said he was going to do it again, and he did. This ball's up and away. I thought it was out of the strike zone. And, you know, it might have been called a ball, but that's always, I felt, a pitch letter high is a pitcher's mistake and a pitch to jump on.
Ian Happ hit his first career grand slam of the game last night. He's sitting second in the order.
Sure like to have a mulligan. Did I say that Harvey had to keep the ball in the ballpark to win tonight?
Well, they can put a stop to it right now.
Yep.
And that's the only free pass they get out of jail free card.
First run of the game brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. That did not take long.
I think you got to throw Mr. Rizzo a little wrinkle first pitch, that first at bat leading off a game.
Before last night, the last time the Cubs had a first baseman lead off a game with a home run, it was Rick Monday in 1976. Now 41 years later, Rizzo's done it 2 days in a row. Makes him look like a genius.
Yeah, it does.
Now Happ drives one to deep right field. Back goes Bruce to the track. He looks up, and that's gone. Back-to-back home runs to start the night for Rizzo and Happ, and it's 2-0 Chicago. For the rookie Happ, his 7th home run in just 88 big league at-bats. And a disastrous beginning for Matt Harvey.
Well, it's not disastrous because it's only 2 runs on the board, 2 solo shots. But boy, oh boy, look at the excitement and the life in that dugout. And what a difference it was in that first game when the Cubs came in and really just had no life.
Now Chris Bryant, breaking ball hit in the air to left. This one will stay in the ballpark. Curtis Granderson in the sunshine, and that finally is the first out of the night.
Hanging breaking ball. Out over the plate around mid-thigh. And there it is, outer half of the plate. Stayed right in the barrel of the bat. He lets go with one hand. This kid's a strong young man.
Last night, Happ became the youngest Cubs switch hitter ever to hit a grand slam. Now he has homered in each of the last 2 games. Here's Miguel Montero starting for the first time in the series, and the veteran catcher takes high for ball 1.
Keith, maybe not disastrous, but definitely a standing 8 count in the first.
Well, you got to stop the bleeding, that's for sure, right? 2 runs can be overcome.
Well, you mentioned the home run numbers for Harvey. That's 15 home runs allowed in just 66 2/3 innings.
He's kind of having the year Lackey's having for the Cubs.
Well, the Cubs hit 5 home runs last night, 2 already tonight. Only the Nationals in 2013 and the Dodgers in 2016 ever came into Citi Field and hit 5 home runs in a game against the Mets. And the Cubs did it last night, the 3rd team to do it. Changeup from Harvey is fouled off, and it's 2-2.
You know what I was saying in the open is that we have seen snippets of when Harvey has had good runs, good innings, but we haven't seen him put it all together, and quite a tough start right here.
fastball, 92 miles an hour. That's a little troublesome.
Very pedestrian.
John Jay waits on deck. 1 out and nobody on. 3-2 to Montero. He fouls it off. Not pitching on regular rest tonight. Friday night in Atlanta threw 104 pitches in 5 innings. Worked around trouble well enough to shut out the Braves on 4 hits with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts in those 5 innings. And he misses with a 3-2 curveball. His velocity is way down on all his pitches tonight.
His fastball, I've seen 93 has been the tops that I've seen so far. A little rolling curveball to half, slider not near the plate. He's tried to throw a couple of changeups, but he just doesn't have enough zip on it yet.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now John Jay, playing right field tonight, is 0 for 5 in the series, hitting .284 for the year. And a first pitch curve in for a strike.
The only way you get out of starts like this as a starting pitcher is that you fight. You just refuse to let this happen to you.
And how does that manifest itself?
You can't hope that things are going to happen. You can't get your dauber down. You can't, woe is me. Things are not happening right. You just got to grab the bull by the horns and say, listen, this stops right here. Here we go. Next pitch underneath your chin. Sit down. Go to the next hitter. Those are the kind of things that you have to think about. Making them less comfortable.
Jay choking up with 2 strikes, fouls it away.
I mean, they're trying to embarrass you out there. Don't let it happen.
Carl Schwarber on deck. Well, the Cubs, after a flat effort on Monday, have been in attack mode last night and right at the start tonight. Darno sets up inside, and that catches the inside corner. Strike 3 called. A little 2-seamer from Harvey to get Jay for the 2nd out.
There's a good start for Matt. We saw him use this in Atlanta a couple of times. Maybe gets the call from the young home plate umpire Addington.
Too close to take. Good pitch.
There is your umpiring crew. Mike Winter is the crew chief at second. Mike McClinsky at first. Mark Wegner at third. And the rookie Addington behind the plate. So here's Schwarber, 1 for 5 in this series. When Harvey started against the Cubs in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series 2 years ago, his night ended when Schwarber hit a home run against him in the 8th inning. Matt gave up just 2 runs in 7 2/3 in that game, and the Mets won the first game of that series. Up and in, it gets out of the glove of Darno and down to second base Montero. The throw is not in time. And Montero able to advance on a short pass ball or wild pitch.
I think this is going to be a pass ball. Montero's got to get to the outside. Well, maybe not. He saw Reyes going to the outside.
Why is Reyes so far behind the bag?
Late getting there.
And it is a pass ball charge to Darno.
Sitting on the outside corner. Ball's on the other side of the plate. Looks like it hit the home plate umpire in the face before Darno got any leather on it.
So a runner in scoring position, a 2-strike count to Schwarber. And he lifts one to shallow left. Granderson edging over. And that retires the side, but the Cubs off to a fast start. Back-to-back home runs from Rizzo and Happ to start the night. 2-0 Cubs. beyond. Cespedes scheduled day off. Conforto stiff back out for the 3rd straight game. So Lagares gets another start in center field. Jay Bruce plays against the left-hander, and Curtis Granderson gets a start against the lefty as well. TJ Rivera playing first base after being recalled yesterday.
Well, Kyle Hendricks, who had such a phenomenal year for the Cubbies last year on the DL. Mike Montgomery has taken his place. In relief in his career, his ERA is in the 2s. As a starting pitcher, his ERA is in the 4s.
Cubs got him last July from Seattle, and he was in the right place at the right time in Game 7 of the World Series. Got the last out in the 10th inning as the Cubs celebrated their first title in 108 years. Juan Lagares takes a wide strike. Juan is 1 for 5 in this series, 9 for his last 23. He's been swinging the bat much better lately. Neil Walker and Wilmer Flores to follow, and Lagares pops one up. Rizzo into foul ground, has room, 1 out.
The Cubs defense brought to you by your Honda dealers. Schwarber, they're trying to get him going. His 2nd start in a row out in left field. On the infield, you got the Gold Glover at first base and also the home run hitter. Last year's MVP at 3rd base. Good corner infield those guys have, the Cubbies. And the veteran Montero gets a start.
Neil Walker 2 for 7 in this series. After facing Mike Montgomery for the first time, there's nobody in the lineup tonight who's ever seen him in a regular season game.
Fastball, cutter, curveball. He walks about 5 batters for every 9 innings pitched. So you have to watch that. Appleton so far looks like he's got a little bigger zone than most umpires. That will benefit Montgomery.
And the curveball fouled off the leg of Walker, 1 and 2.
Walker against the left-handers this year with 53 at bats has yet to hit a home run. All of his home runs have been from the left side of the plate. Well, last year he got off red hot against and with power against the left-handers.
One-two from Montgomery, and it's too high. Montgomery, when he came up with Seattle 2 years ago, threw back-to-back shutouts in his 5th and 6th major league starts. But as Ronnie said, he has really struggled as a starter since and had a lot more success relieving. He threw 73 pitches in his first start for the Cubs. Lasted 4 innings against Colorado, and see how deep he can get into this game.
He's got an electric fastball, but you just don't know where it's going. Sometimes it sinks, sometimes it cuts.
I think walks have been an issue with him too. 23 walks this year and 40 innings pitched.
Walker lifts one to right, and John Jay is there. 2 out. Tonight, Wilmer Flores. Wilmer took a rare 0-for against the left-hander last night, but he's still hitting .378 against lefties this year. They're all of a sudden facing a slew of left-handed pitching. I saw Sean Newcomb in Atlanta over the weekend, Lester last night, Montgomery tonight, Gio Gonzalez tomorrow.
No one pitches better in this ballpark, visiting player, than Gio Gonzalez.
Flores hits a sharp grinder to short, and Javier Baez handles it, and that retires the side. So Montgomery, after getting the lead, sets the Mets down 1-2-3, 2-0 Cubs.
2 outs to go to a perfect game. Jim Qualls, a rookie outfielder, is up. A clean hit to left center field. And there goes the perfect game. But there's a standing ovation for Seaver by 59,000 fans.
It was a disappointment for Seaver. He didn't get the perfect game. Jimmy Qualls, a journeyman player, broke it up. But it really was the week that the Mets came of age in 1969 and showed they could play with the Cubs.
59,000.
Yeah, standing room.
Oh, beautiful.
Javier Baez leading off in the second against Matt Harvey. Misses with the slider, 1-1. Baez homered last night, the 5th of the 5 Cubs home runs.
Well, by the naked eye and what I'm seeing on the screen, this is the least velocity Matt has started the game with this year. Just can tell how the hitters are taking the pitches. There's no surprise.
Comes upstairs at 91. That's a little troubling right there.
That's behind in the count. When you're behind in the count and you throw a fastball, it should be one of your better ones because you're trying to let it go.
His average fastball velocity this season has been 94, which is down from pre-surgical levels. That's strike 3 call. Got it on the outside corner to Baez for his second strikeout. So good location there for Matt to get the first out.
Well, if you paint like this, it doesn't really matter how hard you throw.
Perfect.
Hard to judge with Baez, though. He's a very unique hitter.
Seems to have taken a step back this year.
Has.
He looks like the Baez we saw 3 years ago when he first came up. Here's the pitcher Montgomery, 1 for 18 in his career, hitting 8th in the order. He takes a curveball for a strike. Mike Montgomery grew up in Southern California. His mom was a great athlete. Montgomery's mom was a 2-sport star at Cal Poly Pomona. His mom Jeanette won a national championship in basketball for Cal Poly Pomona and was a great softball player. And even to this day, she will catch him in the offseason and he'll throw his best stuff. She has no problem. Wow. And he throws 94.
Yeah.
He laces one toward the gap in left center field, but overcomes Granderson to get it for the second out. And Montgomery with a good swing. But that's the second out of the inning.
I had a similar brought up as Montgomery. My mom was a softball player, a volleyball player, and she could play catch with all of us. I mean, certainly not at the height of 86, but she could, when we were kids, easily have a catch.
Now Albert Almora hitting 9th in the order. Almora 3 for 4 last night, hitting 9th.
Mr. Lester, last night's winning pitcher. 150th career win.
Well, if Matt's going to have a 91-mile-an-hour fastball tonight, he's going to have to rely on all of his pitches. And he's used a lot of curveballs early. Ahead of the count on Almora 0-2. And he gets him swinging to end the inning. So a couple of strikeouts in that inning for Harvey against the lower third of the order. Matt trying to get it in gear. 2-0 Cubs in the middle of the second. Around the Majors brought to you by Northwell Health. Look north and look out for the Marlins after a terrible month of May. They've won 13 of 19 after they outscored the A's today. Marcell Ozuna, another home run. Brandon Phillips had 4 hits and 3 RBIs in the Braves' demolishment of the Nationals this afternoon. So the Nats have lost 5 of 6 as they come to Citi Field, and the Royals beat the Giants today. Another home run from Moustakas. That's number 18. And the Royals have won 4 straight. Jay Bruce leads off in the home second.
Moustakas is walk year also.
Well, you know, the Royals, for the horrible start they got off to, they're only 4.5 games out of first place. Bruce had a 9-game hitting streak stopped last night. But you know, we talked about it at the time, but even thinking back on it more, the catch that he made late in the game to take a home run away at the top of the fence with the Mets down by double-digit runs. It was so impressive.
That was impressive, and also the at bat that Walker took in the 9th. You know, that's you know, not giving an at bat away, helping out your pitcher, and he made a bad pitch. Being a pro.
Cutter off the plate, 2-2.
Breaking ball by Montgomery. It's called a spike curve because you have that one finger up, the pointed finger up, the middle finger is the one that makes it spin. The most famous, well, not most famous, but the best one right now when he pitches is Rich Hill.
Oh, I'm wondering as a hitter if you could pick that up, because I used to, when John Denny threw a palm ball, he would have 4 fingers exposed. You know, he had the ball in his palm and he'd throw it and it would be like 4 feathers above the ball. His fingers, I could tell the palm ball was coming. And I'm just wondering if that is something that the hitter can pick up on, seeing that one finger up.
Bruce wasn't ready. Montgomery was. Hit sharply toward the shift and under the glove of Bryant and into right field. Chris Bryant, the third baseman, moved over into the middle of the shift, and Bruce will get credit for a base hit.
Well, this is just kind of a lazy error right here. Didn't get down.
To me, it was like he was playing so deep he looked up for a second, wanted to see how quick he was going to have to be to first base.
Watch how the ball scoots off the grass. You're going to get not as big a bounce as you're going to get off the dirt. And that's something you got to be aware of if you're going to be playing out there in the outfield.
Yeah, he didn't look up, just beat him.
Now T.J. Rivera recalled yesterday when Asdrubal Cabrera went on the disabled list. T.J. was with the Mets over the weekend, hit a 2-run pinch hit home run in Atlanta Saturday night. Sent down, brought right back, and in the lineup tonight at first base. Grounded down to third, behind the bag, foul.
You know, it's interesting. We saw him in the shift there for Bryant for all the different positions he played last year. 58 of them have come at third base this year. They have not been moving him around as much as they did last year.
I just think that, I mean, he had an MVP season, so obviously it didn't bother him. But to me, it's asking a lot of a player to move him around in various positions.
There's only one other player who started at 4 different positions in an MVP season, and that was Johnny Bench, who did it twice. Breaking ball pulled foul by Rivera, 1-2.
Sparky was trying with Johnny Bench to get him back from behind the plate and keep his bat in the lineup. That's why he would go.
Like the Giants do with Posey.
There you go.
I'm trying to remember who the backup catcher for the Reds were back then.
Johnny Blanchard, maybe?
No. That was the Red Machine. That was the Boston series. I got to think on that one. Well, he stands he comes in, he's on his toe, he squats down. Interesting. Everybody has their own way of doing things. As long as you're on your toes, I always believe in making that 2 steps forward and then
getting ready to go, to react. As the ball's getting ready to be struck, that's when you plant your feet on your toes, ready to go left, right, back in.
Keith, Bill Plummer.
That's right.
He's back up for Johnny Bench. Travis d'Arnaud on deck. Bruce at first and nobody out. And Rivera hits one toward the middle. Base hit. Bruce pulls in at second. And the Mets have the first 2 men on in the home second inning.
Well, Rivera had a lot of playing time early because of injury and was hot, and then he kind of cooled off and had a lot of sat the pine for quite a bit. Got sent down, comes back, look, gets a base hit.
So the tying runs aboard with nobody out. Travis d'Arnaud the batter. Travis 3 for 7 in this series. And in limited at bats, Travis has torn up lefties.
A lot of extra base hits, Gary, against left-handers.
He's 8 for 17 with a couple of home runs.
And a couple doubles in there and a triple, I believe. So
there's the final from this afternoon in Washington.
Is that Roark who took the beating?
Yeah, he got lit up early.
Tehran beat him.
Curveball in for a strike. 0-2.
Well,
there it is, right there.
Again.
You see how it's behind his head, though?
You think you'd be able to see that? No, because it's behind his head?
No, I think it's off to the side.
Okay.
I'm very curious. But you're always looking for a tip. You know that, Ron, obviously. Yep. If a pitcher is tipping his pitch, whatever it is, you can pick it up in the motion. So there it is. That's above his head. I mean, I've got to believe you could see that.
And he strikes out d'Arnaud with the fastball away for the first out of the inning. First strikeout for Montgomery.
Well, we came into this game talking about the control issues for Montgomery. In the first couple of innings, he has no trouble controlling all of his pitches.
Good sink right there.
Great sink.
He's got decent stuff.
Yeah.
I like his stuff.
So now Granderson has been getting very little playing time against lefties, sitting just 140 against left-handers, but in there tonight with Conforto and Cespedes out.
No home runs against the left-handers.
Who's Hot brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Overall, though, last 26 games, Granderson has raised his batting average from down in the 130s up over 200. Bruce at second, Rivera at first with 1 out. And Curtis grounds one toward the hole, cut off by Rizzo. Out at second. The throw by Baez not in time. So they get the 3-6 force out on Rivera for the second out.
Gets rid of it quickly. And Curtis just runs too well.
That play, the 3-6-1, much more difficult for the left-handed pitcher. It's almost like you have to turn 45 degrees and get your left leg to the bag, as opposed to right-hander. You can just step on it with your right foot and reach out.
So now first and third and 2 out for Reyes, who's hitting 8th in the order, and a first pitch curveball fouled at the plate. Reyes has been so jumpy in RBI situations this year. He's 2 for 8 in this series, getting a chance to play some shortstop now with Cabrera on the DL. Bruce at third, Granderson at first, and a flailing swing at a curveball makes it 0-2.
I mean, look at where Baez plays, Keith. Anyone play any deeper than that as a shortstop?
I know. I just don't buy it with Reyes' speed. I don't buy it.
Runner goes, grounded down to third. Bryant comes in to get it, drops the ball, and a run comes home. A very rough defensive inning for Chris Bryant, and it helps the Mets get their first run of the night. It's now 2-1 Chicago.
Well, boy, 2 loose defensive plays in the field by Bryant. And this one's just no excuse. I know what happens. He plays it perfect. It's on the exchange. Oh, wow.
That was odd.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the ball in his hand in throwing position.
The Cubs have been better lately, but they started this season really bad defensively.
For the Cubs, their 41st error of the year in their 65th game. But as Ronnie says, that's gotten better. They were averaging almost an error a game for the first month and a half. Harvey's 2 for 26 at the plate, looking for his first run batted in of the season. And Matt takes the fastball away, 1-1. Well, the plays not made by Bryant not only have helped the Mets to a run, but they're really jacking up the pitch count for Montgomery, who's going to be limited in the number of pitches he can throw in this game. Just his second start after coming out of the bullpen.
But you've got a Cub bullpen that has been a strength to this ball club. The starting pitching has been the letdown, not the bullpen.
At the same time, though, they don't want to be going to the pen in the fourth.
70 pitches is the number we heard that Joe Maddon has, around 70 for Montgomery this evening.
25 in this inning after an easy first. 2-1 to Harvey, and Matt pops one foul. That'll make it back out of play. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. Granderson at second, Reyes at first, 2-2 to Harvey, and the curveball strike 3 called, inning over. Second strikeout for Montgomery. Mets get an unearned run and trail 2-1 after 2. Looks like a pretty good seat for tonight's game.
Nice.
Today's high-speed pitch comes from Optimum, now with internet speeds up to 4 times faster. Harvey's only 94-mile-an-hour fastball was his first pitch of the game, the one that Rizzo had out of the ballpark.
You know, I should really send a caveat about what I said about I didn't think his velocity was very good in the first inning. It's obvious, couple home runs. But that happens a lot to a pitcher, and you have to work through it because sometimes it'll come back.
And Harvey works the inside corner to Rizzo. Rizzo became the first player to hit leadoff home runs in back-to-back games against the Mets since Ronnie Belliard did it for the Braves in 2000.
Ronnie Belliard. Wow.
Good changeup by Matt, and he's ahead 0-2.
Well, interesting. I like Matt leading him off with that fastball in. Remember last night, Wheeler came back to second at bat and threw him a hanging breaking ball, and he was sitting on it.
To me, an 0-2 pitch where you throw a foot outside doesn't really accomplish a lot.
Breaking ball bounced foul. Rizzo's home run was his 15th of the year. And you have to figure, with the success that Joe Maddon has had with this rather unique experiment the last 2 nights, that they may just run with it for a while. Cubs are going to Pittsburgh after tonight's game. Likely to see Rizzo hitting leadoff again.
Well, it's not like it's unprecedented with Joe Maddon. When he's with the Rays, he used to bat occasionally Carlos Pena, their home run hitter, first baseman, leadoff also.
Because he had such a high on-base percentage.
And he also wanted him to get more fastballs. He thought he would anyway.
Rizzo gets jammed and pops one up, but that'll go out of play.
Good pitch.
Very rare to find a power hitter the likes of Rizzo amongst the toughest to strike out. And it's not because he, puts the first pitch in play, which, Murphy does a lot, Posey does a lot. Runs a lot of deep counts like Votto does.
Yep, I mentioned Votto last night, and you mentioned Gary strikes out a lot, but he's a good 2-strike hitter.
Down to first base, and T.J. Rivera makes the play, and Rizzo's retired one away. I think Votto's strikeouts are down this year from past seasons. So 1 out now, Ian Happ, who followed Rizzo's home run with one of his own. Last time the Mets gave up back-to-back home runs to start the game was against the Nationals in 2013. Denard Span and Ryan Zimmerman back-to-back to start the first inning against Carlos Torres.
Zimmerman in the 2-hole.
Well, you can put him anywhere right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he missed a few days because of a sore back, and then last night hit 2 bombs. Just had an amazing retro season. Happ, the former first-round draft pick out of the University of Cincinnati, just 22 years old. Yet another talented product of this fertile Cubs farm system. Changeup bounce to second. Walker makes the play on Happ, 2 out. So Harvey's now set down 7 in a row after a rough beginning to this game. And now he'll take on Chris Bryant with 2 out and nobody on. Bryant flying to left field his first time up. On the corner, 1-1. takes the changeup for a strike. 1-2. Chris Bryant, third year in the league, rookie of the year, MVP. What this year? Strike three called. Harvey gets him looking. Bryant mutters about it to Ryan Addison, but Harvey has his fourth strikeout, and Matt all of a sudden has retired 8 in a row. 2-1 Cubs in the third. Well, last year, 7th game of the World Series, Cubs leading, 8th inning. Rajai Davis with the unlikely tying home run against Aroldis Chapman that wound up sending the game to extra innings.
I mean, right off the Fox camera.
What a moment.
Yeah, that was something.
And people forget, but after the Cubs scored 2 in the 10th, Davis had another RBI hit that got the Indians back within a run. Got the tying run on base before tonight's Cubs starter Mike Montgomery retired Michael Martinez on a grounder to third to get the final out. As for the Indians, they're in about the same boat as the Cubs. They're a game over 500, but in a division that's very forgiving. They're only 2 games out of first place. And like the Cubs, their bullpen has been great, and their starters have kind of underperformed.
Or have been hurt. Kluber's been on the DL. One of their fine performers, Carrasco, I believe, has gone into the bullpen. So
Lagares fouled out his first time, and Montgomery picks off the inside corner. 1-2. The Twins, the surprising leader in the Central. 28 hits for the Twins last night, and their 20-7 win over the Mariners. Ooh, Eddie Rosario with 3 home runs out of the 9-hole. That's a good night. Line the other way by Lagares, and he's got a base hit. So for the second straight inning, the Mets get the leadoff man on against Montgomery.
And Juan is hitting the ball solidly and a nice road trip. Gets this breaking ball, stays in. Jumps on it.
just a roller here from Montgomery. See a lot of the hitters are barking at the home plate umpire strike zone, but he's letting you know, I've got a big strike zone. You're going to have to get used to it.
He's consistent. He's a pitcher's umpire.
Here's Neil Walker, who flying to right his first time up and drops down a bunt. Montgomery off the mound. His throw, and Walker is hurt going down to first base, grabbing at the back of that left leg about halfway down the line, and Walker down.
Well, that is a flat tire, as we would call it.
He laid down a perfect bunt. He probably would have beaten it out easily, but he comes up lame, grabbing at the back of that left leg.
Oh, here's another one destined for the DL. Oh my goodness. I mean, he pulled up like he was shot, and that means it probably had a pop in it. We'll find out later the extent.
Walking better than you would expect as he goes down the steps, so that's the good news.
Yeah, but get some ice on it immediately. Ramirez, I'm sure, will have it iced. Let's see. There it is. Oh boy, and he's grabbing it. Lower ham.
It's almost like it bit him twice as he was going down that line.
Did he kind of like
Took a bad step.
Yeah, bad step, and that's what did it.
So Lagares at second and 1 out. Scored that a sacrifice for Walker. It was not intended that way. Certainly, if he had not come up lame, he would have beaten that out. But his first sacrifice bunt since 2014, and a painful one.
My first thought is Montgomery should put that in his back pocket. There's no way he's going to get him at first, and then I couldn't see Neal except on the ground.
Good changeup by Montgomery, and it's 0-2.
Watch the stumble here, folks. Right there, and then he popped it. But, oh, there's the ouch.
Yeah, I think the stumble came because he had popped it, not the other way around.
That's why I was saying I'm not sure, but it seemed to me like it bit him twice, you know. But it doesn't matter how it happened. That it happened.
So after putting Asdrubal Cabrera on the disabled list yesterday, his double play partner is down, and Terry Collins will have to figure out his infield configuration now. He can move Rivera to second, put Duda in the game. He's got a lot of choices. Could move Flores to second base. Fouled at the plate by Wilmer. It's 1-2. Flores grounded out to short his first time up, but with another infielder out, and we don't know how badly Walker's hurt, but it certainly will raise the question again of whether the time is right for Ahmed Rosario, which is the question that gets raised every time the Mets have an issue with the middle infielder. In the dirt, kicks away from Montero, but not far enough for Lagares to move, and it's 2-2.
Good stop by the veteran. Takes his glove out of the way and just uses his body kind of to block it against his core.
Two coming. Line left field. Schwarber reaching down, and he makes the catch. Throw back to second, not in time.
Pretty good base running. Great, nice catch by Schwarber, who's not known for his glove, and really good base running by Lagares.
Boy, if you're the Cubs, you always get nervous with Schwarber approaching a ball like that. He's had so many problems out there, but he's able to snag this one.
It wanted to pop out of that glove.
So 2 out. Lagares still at second. Here's Jay Bruce, and he fouls back the fastball. Bruce snuck a base hit through the right side under Bryant's glove. This time Bryant is playing at home at third base, and they've got Ian Happ, the second baseman, playing out in shallow right field. Quickly 0-2.
Boy, Jay Bruce missed 2 pitches. Fouled straight back. Right on him.
Jay's very active in and out of that box, isn't he? Look at the choke up there, an inch choke up. I like to see this. A trend. That should go viral. How about that? Two of the top hitters in the league choking up with 2 strikes.
Left-hand power hitters who choke up for 200, Alex. Curveball bends inside, 2-2. Lagares at second with 2 down. And Bruce strikes out of the curveball, inning over. Third strikeout for Montgomery. Mets get a leadoff hit. Lose Neil Walker to an injury. And we go to the 4th with the Mets down 2-1. As we go to the 4th, Lucas Duda comes into play first base. T.J. Rivera moves to second with Walker coming out of the game. And as Matt Harvey takes them out in the 4th inning, the Mets are getting Paul Sewald up in the bullpen.
Yeah, very interesting. You know, when we're looking at the same velocity that the manager and coaches are, and they, I guess, are alarmed too.
Now the irony of that is that Matt has settled in to retire the last 8 batters.
And he's done it by getting breaking balls over and spotting his fastball as well as he has all year.
And yet clearly there has to be concern for the Mets to be getting Sewald up at this point. Montero drew a walk his first time up. And a good changeup there from Harvey, and he's using all of his secondary pitches now to try and find his way through.
But he's got a extraordinary changeup.
John Jay on deck, and then Kyle Schwarber against Harvey in the 4th. On the inside corner, he got him looking. Again, he used that 2-seamer to get the strikeout, his 5th of the night.
Curveball ahead in the count, 2-strike fastball in, Ronnie.
Yep, curveball for a strike, changeup, a swinging strike, and a taken fastball right on the corner.
But an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and you know, it's just not what you expect to see from Matt Harvey. Now John Jay, who struck out looking his first time up. And Jay lines one into center field for a base hit. So after Harvey had retired 9 in a row, the Cubs have their 3rd hit of the night. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Well, Gary, John Jay does something unique in the on-deck circle. He takes his normal swings, but then towards the end, as he gets ready for his at-bat, he cradles the bat almost like you would cradle a newborn baby. And I asked him about that today. He said that it's just about trying to keep your elbows connected. And Keith, maybe you could speak about why that's so important. But it's something he actually picked up from Carlos Beltran, who told him to do that a few years ago when the two were together in St. Louis.
Well, everybody has their little checkpoints. Everybody's different.
It's very individual. It's a team game, but it's also very individualistic. Is that the Gary? Help me with that.
Sure.
And everybody has their little idiosyncrasies, things that they look for and really watch closely, and have their ways of doing that.
Schwarber launches one to deep right field. Forget it. That is way out of here. That reaches over the Shea Bridge. What a majestic shot off the bat of Kyle Schwarber. A 2-run homer, his 12th of the year, and the Cubs' 3rd home run of the night against Matt Harvey to make it 4-1. That is as long a home run as we have seen in that direction since this ballpark opened.
That's the longest one I've seen, and I can recall, Gary. I went over the bridge.
Now that'll give you an idea about the power of Kyle Schwarber.
Fastball, I guess, and he's all over it. Right down the middle and down where he likes it. That's a Banaka blast.
That could be 500 feet, and I'm not kidding.
I mean, we've seen them hit to the bridge, but that was over the bridge. The initial estimate, 467 feet, sounds a little short.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I don't know these things.
And like Yogi said, they count the same.
Yes, they do. Rivera gets in front of it and throws out Baez for the 2nd out.
Did we get an exit velocity on that?
114.
Oh, jeez. Hit the dog out of it, didn't he?
114, launch angle high, long homer.
It was long. So the Cubs, who had 5 home runs last night, have 3 tonight. And now the pitcher Montgomery, who lined out to left his first time up.
We're getting all this information here that's like, there should be like a ministry of useless information. The ball got out of the ballpark in under 7 seconds. 6.7 seconds. Adios. 6.2. Excuse me.
Do you get points for that?
Do you care?
Line, 1 hop. Flores got it. Side retired. But Schwarber's monstrous 2-run homer extends the Cubs' lead. 4-1 Chicago in the 4th. assessment. Certainly crushed one a moment ago.
He's crushing tall boys, and this guy's crushing fastballs.
Matt Harvey, when he came in the dugout, trailed by Terry Collins, and they had a rather lengthy discussion.
Well, Dan Warthen asked him first if he was all right. Matt said fine, and then after that, like you said, Collins and Harvey in a powwow for a long time.
So on a night when Matt's velocity is clearly way down, and he's given up 3 home runs in the first 4 innings. We'll wait and see what comes next. TJ Rivera will lead off for the Mets in the home 4th. Mets now down 4-1. Rivera had a base hit up the middle his first time up. Travis d'Arnaud on deck, then Curtis Granderson, and the Mets bullpen continues to work. So that may be a sign that Harvey might be done. Little looper behind second, back goes Happ, and it drops for a base hit. And TJ Rivera is 2 for 2. So a little dunker for TJ, and the Mets have the leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning. We'll take a look at this. The home runs against Harvey, pitch location.
That's above the belt, out over the plate. That's Rizzo, the leadoff home run of the Wiggle. Here's Happ, ball down outside corner, but it was a lazy breaker, but still not a bad location. And this is down, fastball, but right down the middle. So 2 mistakes.
Travis d'Arnaud struck out his first time up. Rivera at first and nobody out. And Montgomery gets the half swing, and he went around. Mike Plinsky with the call, 1-1. Cutter runs inside, 2-1. Now Montgomery now at 58 pitches. He threw 73 in his first start last Friday against the Rockies. Can't imagine he'll go much beyond that tonight, maybe to 80.
Here Montgomery,
the fastball, 2-2.
They're trying to get through 5 right now with a 4-1 lead.
I mean, he's been a guy who's been the long man in the bullpen. He's had 3 and 4 inning outings out of the pen. That's a couple of saves this year. Fastball on the outside corner. d'Arnaud not happy about it, but he is a strikeout victim for the 2nd time.
Well, he's been back there catching, so he knows the strike zone of the home plate umpire added him. This is a good pitch to me.
I think so too. That's a strike.
Four strikeouts now for Montgomery. 1 out and 1 on. Now Granderson, who grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Bryant has moved over to the right side of the infield.
They've kept them on the infield too, not out in the grass.
Well, double play in order. Granderson takes a strike.
Good point, Garrett. I don't know how that slipped by me.
First time ever.
See, when you're in position, no one's got to say, runner on first base, 1 out. The ball's hit to me. What am I going to do with it?
Montgomery, a guy who came in struggling to throw strikes, has been ahead in the count all day. Hasn't walked a batter. So only 2 3-ball counts so far. And quickly ahead on Granderson, 0-2. Line the other way, and Baez with a great stop, but he can't make the play. Javier Baez with a brilliant stop. It'll be a base hit for Granderson to put 2 men aboard.
I don't understand why Baez came up and wanted to go across the infield here. It looks like he wants to go all the way to first on this.
He did.
And you got the force at second.
Did Rivera get a good jump?
No, he had him. I mean, that's the quickest out, Garrett. It's a heck of a play. It's like a juggling act.
So now Reyes and Steven Matz has come out on deck to pinch hit. Keep in mind the Mets only have a 4-man bench. Cespedes is getting the day off. Conforto still has the bad back. Walker got hurt, and so that leaves only Rene Rivera. Lucas Duda's already in the game. Cespedes, Terry Collins said, doesn't start preparing himself on these days off until the 5th inning, so he needs to go through a whole hamstring protection program before they can get him into the game. So it's Matz who's going to pinch hit for Harvey.
You know, this is what happens when you have 45 guys in the bullpen. I mean, what if Reyes gets on with the walk, the base is loaded, and I'm not saying Matz is as good a hitting pitcher as you're going to get. You don't have a player ready to hit in a 4-1 game.
3-0 now to Reyes. Well, it's the part of it is the configuration the Mets have to have because they have a 6-man rotation right now. 6-man
rotation, a lot of guys in the bullpen, injuries, guys who can't get loose quick enough. But still, you know, you would hate to have the bases loaded and have to hit a pitcher in the 4th inning.
You got a 4-man bench.
3-0.
4-man bench, and one guy's your backup catcher. So really, you have a 3-man bench.
Right. And you get somebody hurt.
And I don't like a 4-man bench.
There's a strike to Reyes, and it's 3-1. Reyes reached on the air by Bryant his first time up. Well, that's what Terry's saddled with right now. So trying to do the best he can to manage his way through this game and save whatever bullets he has if Cespedes and Conforto can be used for later. That's a strike. 3-2.
You know, that'd be a case 3-0 there, 3-0 and 3-1, that Jose should be overly aggressive because the pitcher's behind him.
3-2 coming, and the curveball drilled down the left field line. Foul. Just got a little bit ahead on that curve, and it'll come on back.
Interesting choice by Montgomery with the 3-2 curve and the 3-run lead because the pitcher's on deck.
And you know, you got a 2-strike count, so you throw that get me over curveball.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that in the big leagues.
Rivera at second, Granderson at first with 1 out. And the curveball misses for ball 4, and that loads him up. So the first walk given up on Montgomery goes to Reyes. And now Steven Matz will pinch hit for Matt Harvey with the bases loaded.
Wow. 2 3-2 curveballs to Reyes with the pitcher Matz on deck.
I don't believe I have ever, not even with Rick Rhoden and Don Robinson with the Pittsburgh Pirates, 2 of the best hitting pitchers I've ever seen. Have I seen this?
All that being said, hit one in the gap, Steven.
I mean, it's all a matter of circumstance here, right? 4-man bench. Cespedes a little compromised. Conforto compromised. Walker gets hurt early in the game. Harvey struggling early in the game, so you need a pinch hitter at this point. So this is what you got. And
I guess what we're saying, though, Gary, this is what happens when you construct the team like this.
The head of the snake is a 4-man bench.
But the Mets are not the only team
No, I'm
that's
saying
carrying a 4-man bench. Lots of teams do that.
Every team does that. But if you're in the American League, certainly can get away with a small bench.
Right. But I'm just saying there are a lot of circumstances that have conspired to get them to this point.
I'm saying where baseball's at right now is that you have a pitcher hitting with the bases loaded,
Yes.
3 runs down in the 4th inning.
Yes.
Is that good? It can't be good.
Matz has pinch hit once in his career and drew a walk. Zach Wheeler had a pinch hit double earlier this season. And now Matz up in a big spot with the Mets down by 3 runs in the 4th inning.
Amazing.
Rivera at third, Granderson at second, Reyes at first. And Steven attacks the first pitch and fouls it off.
I don't care how this turns out. If Matz hits a grand slam, it doesn't make it right. The construction of the team, and not criticizing Terry here. He's got a limited bench.
One and one.
Oh
of a sudden Montgomery's got a little Archie Bell in the drill, a little goosing it in there, so guiding it.
This could be it for him anyway.
He's at 72 pitches. There's nobody up in the Cubs bullpen. This is going to be his 73rd pitch, which is the number he threw in his first start last week. And the curveball misses. That's a call that he's been getting, but not that time, and now it's 2-1.
Good eye by Steven.
Juan Lagares on deck. Rivera a bloop single. Granderson an infield hit. Reyes a walk. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Matt's the pinch hitter. Takes it low. 3-1.
Tight. Squeeze it.
Steven made his season debut Saturday. Went 0 for 3 in Atlanta. Now a pinch hitting assignment. He's ahead of the count, 3-1. There's a strike, 3-2.
Got to believe he had the take sign there, and I agree. The pitcher, no matter how good a hitter he is, a good hitting pitcher, you got to take.
Pressure's on the pitcher.
Rivera, Granderson, and Reyes, the base runners. 3-2 coming. Ground ball toward the hole. Baez runs it down, throws to first, not in time. Matz beats it out for an infield hit. Baez probably had to play at third, but tried to go all the way across the diamond. Matz with good speed beats it out to drive in the run and cuts the Cubs lead to 4-2.
Well, a Baltimore chop. The Mets come out smelling like a rose here. I think Baez wants to go to third, but look at Bryant.
No.
He's not close to getting back.
Yeah, Bryant didn't hustle back, and Baez didn't even look at him. Watch, I don't think Baez is looking at him.
You saw him look.
You're right.
He did. Bryant just didn't get back to the bag. I mean, Bryant's falling asleep in this game.
So now a run is in. Base is still loaded with 1 out. And here's Lagares. Attacks the first one and flies it out to center field. Granderson tagging at third. Almora gets behind it and makes the catch. Granderson comes home. The throw goes to third. And the Mets have 2 runs home in the inning to pull within 4-3. Sacrifice fly for Lagares.
Well, nice at bat by Steven Matz. I mean, as a pitcher, getting called to pinch hit with the bases loaded, down 3 runs early. And that's a little daunting for a pitcher. I don't care how good a hitting pitcher you are. Excellent at bat.
So now Lucas Duda will bat for the first time tonight. Duda came in the game after Neil Walker hurt himself after he laid down a bunt in the 3rd inning, left with what looked like a hamstring injury. We've yet to get an official report on Neil. Duda homered in his last at bat last night, which snapped an 0 for 16 stretch for him. Batting here with the tying and lead runs on base and 2 down. Reyes at second, Matz at first. 2 runs home in the inning. And now the Cubs bullpen is cranking. And Duda pulls one down at first, and Rizzo handles it. And that retires the side. But the Mets get closer. Steven Matz with an RBI infield hit as a pinch hitter for Matt Harvey. Stretching to beat it out. Those RBIs feel good. Mets pull within a run. Four dealers. Michael Conforto feeling better today. Might be available to pinch hit late in the game, but not starting for the third straight game. And his questionable availability led in part to the Steven Matz pinch hitting assignment. Matz comes through with an infield hit to drive in a run, and the Mets get within a run and now bring Paul Sewald on to pitch the fifth.
Yeah, Matz hits for Harvey. Harvey goes 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts. Sewald in now to do some heavy lifting.
So Matz can now rest.
That's right.
Get ready for his start on Friday night. Albert Almora leads off in the 5th inning for Chicago and takes a fastball strike. So Harvey goes 4, allows 4 runs, 4 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts, 3 home runs. And the slider by Sewald gets him ahead 0-2. The 4th time in Harvey's career he's given up 3 home runs in a game, never more. But I guess the question you'd have to ask coming out of this assignment and watching Matt's velocity level so low as that's grounded down to Flores, and he throws out Almora 1 away. Do you have concern when you see a guy have that big a drop off, or is it just a blip?
I mean, what I don't think it's a blip, Gary, is that you've given up 4 runs in 4 innings. You don't come out of that game. You know, I mean, if we've just been talking about a short bench. You aren't taken out of that game unless there's some concern on your part and the training staff and coach's part.
Here's Rizzo, who led off this game on the first pitch with a home run after leading off the game on the second pitch with a home run last night.
If there isn't any concern, he hits there instead of Matz. 1 out.
And Sewald picks off the inside corner to Rizzo, 1-1. Ian Happ waiting on deck. Most of this bullpen is very well rested now after the long starting assignments the Mets have had in recent days, notwithstanding Wheeler last night and Harvey tonight. Mets did make a move with the bullpen though today, and Josh Smoker, who threw 4 innings of long relief last night and threw 81 pitches, lands on the disabled list today with a strained left shoulder. Not hugely surprising. On the outside corner, and Sewald going inside and going outside gets Rizzo looking for the second out.
Well, he's got a big strike zone. Anything close, I didn't think that was a strike. But he's been consistent. He is a pitcher's umpire. It's missed. It missed. So, swing the bats, as Frank Pulley would say.
Been that way on both sides.
Yes.
Saw Darno unhappy about a call when he was hitting earlier. Happy about that one. Ian Happ fouls it away. Ryan Addison is the home plate umpire. Made his big league debut a month ago, and our first look at him behind the plate, and he certainly has been aggressive at hunting strikes, as they say. Happ homered in the first inning, his second in 2 nights, his 7th of the year. And Sewald dots one outside, 1-1. Sewald hasn't worked in 5 days, so he should be capable of multiple innings tonight. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by NYU Langone Heart.
What'd you say? I missed that one.
It's a quick one. You got to stay up with it.
Grounded slowly. Duda with the flip. Sewald gets over. Good inning for Sewald. 1-2-3 go the Cubs in the top of the 5th. We're halfway through at Citi Field. Cubs 4, Mets 3. Cardinals arrive in town tomorrow night. They've lost 5 of their last 6, but Bryce Harper, MVP 2 years ago, is playing up to that level this year. Always controversial. Got into it with Hunter Strickland, took his suspension, and he's back in the middle of that powerful Nationals batting order. 4 games with the Mets starting tomorrow night. Mets began the day 9 games behind the Nats, but they lost today, so a chance to gain some ground. Pitching matchups for the 4-game series brought to you right there. Gesellman and Gonzalez tomorrow, Matz and Scherzer Friday, Lugo and Strasburg Saturday, DeGrom and Ross Sunday afternoon.
Boy, some great matchups.
Flores grounds one softly to short, and Baez throws him out, 1 away. For more on the Nats, let's check in with Steve.
And guys, the offense for the Nats, great. The starting pitching for the Nats, great. But like you guys talked about yesterday, their bullpen has just been a mess so far this season. 6 losses when they are leading by 2 or more runs in the 8th inning or later. That's the most in the major leagues. They have 11 blown saves. 6 different pitchers have recorded a save, and that just speaks to what's going on with this bullpen right now. There are really no defined roles, no defined closer, and last night was kind of a microcosm for this team. Enny Ramirez comes in the 7th inning. He gets a clean inning, so he goes back out there for the 8th because Dusty Baker just doesn't trust anybody. Then in a 5-run lead in the 9th inning, he makes a pitching change with 2 on and 2 out just because Sean Kelly has given up too many hard-hit balls. So right now, if there's one thing to watch with the Washington Nationals, it's that bullpen, because they are right now struggling so mightily, and it's starting to leak out that players and the coaching staff are very frustrated.
Bruce flies out for the 2nd out, and Montgomery, who started this inning at 79 pitches, has quickly gotten the first 2. Justin Grimm is up in the Cubs bullpen. T.J. Rivera, who's 2 for 2, is coming up.
Joe Madden is lengthening his pitcher. Told by many people 70 to 80 pitches tonight. It's going to be over that. Well, he's over it already.
Trying to get 1 more out to qualify for a win.
He's really been kind of let down by his defense here tonight, even though the Cubs have only made 1 error in this game, but there's been some mental errors behind him.
Rivera grounds one sharply. Baez boots it, recovers, and the throw in time. We'll see if the Mets challenge that. Very close play at first base to end the inning.
Beautiful scoop.
Terry Collins says hold the phone.
He's out. He got him.
Or pick up the phone.
Safe.
Yeah, he beat it.
And the Mets will challenge the call at first base.
That'll be 3 hits for Rivera.
Is that not there?
I don't think so.
That ball's hit too hard, I think, Gary.
I'll tell you what, Baez plays very casually at shortstop.
Oh yeah, you can give him an error.
You could.
Yeah.
Certainly does appear as though Rivera beat it.
Even the Cub players are coming back on the field.
I'm telling you, it's just first base umpiring has just been atrocious.
The umpires in Chelsea, the 2 crews led by Kerwin Danley and Tom Hallion, will make the decision on this play. Certainly it appears T.J. Rivera got his foot down before the ball hit the interior of Rizzo's glove.
Beautiful scoop by Rizzo in between hop. I mean, is there any shame?
Mike McClinsky, who made the call, is on the headset along with the crew chief Mike Winters. Plan to review brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters.
If you don't get it right, it's just replay, Keith. But you know what I mean?
So you're not asking for excellence.
Just
that's what upsets me.
Well, here's the initial play by Baez. So the question is that a hit or an error?
It should be an error.
Took a strange angle on that ball. Played it out into the outfield.
All right, let's go. Come on, snap it.
And the call is overturned.
So what do we got here?
And Rivera's safe.
What's the score going to be? Scoring. Base hit.
Base hit.
Okay.
And they are charging an error to Baez, so it's an E6.
And that's just clank right there. That's off the
not even the heel of the glove, off the baby finger.
So that enables the Mets to get the tying run aboard with 2 down. Second error of the game for the Cubs. And here's d'Arnaud, who has been up twice and struck out twice, swinging in the second, looking in the fourth. And the first pitch curve is fouled off.
Montgomery's still in the game.
Well, they have the right-hander ready in the bullpen.
They've made some plays in this game. Montgomery have about a 50 pitch limit. I mean 50 pitches now.
Oh, they switched back to an error. Now they changed it. Okay.
That was an error all the way.
No, they put up 7 on the scoreboard.
But they announced error.
Okay, so the scoreboard.
They just made a
Okay.
mistake.
All right, that's what I get from watching
the official score is Howie Carpenter, and he had an error all the way.
I think Howie got it right.
Sorry, TJ. Could have been his 3rd hit. 1-1 to d'Arnaud. It's one out to right field. Chasing Jay back to the track at the wall. He makes the catch.
Nice.
John Jay going away and taking an extra base hit away from d'Arnaud to retire the side. Mets get the call on a bad play by the Cubs, but Jay bails out Montgomery and makes that play to keep the Mets from getting even. Still 4-3 Cubs after 5. When the Mets take on the Nats at 1:10, the first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets Father's Day cap presented by Nathan's Famous. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game in the Mr. Met Dash, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. Chris Bryant leading off in the 6th inning. He's had a rough day in the field, and he's 0 for 2 at the plate. Flied out and struck out.
15 home runs and only 28 RBIs.
And he grounds one right at Reyes. And Jose throws him out more way. Well, that's because Bryant's hitting .213 with runners in scoring position. And that's really the whole Cub team. They're .222 as a team.
Right. Oh, they added on going into last night's game. Before going into it, they were .210.
Yeah, they're hitting home runs. They're not catching the ball particularly well. Their starting pitching has been subpar from last year when it was, I mean, so great.
What a nice overview of the field right there. Love that shot. Way on high.
Now it's Miguel Montero, who's walked and taken a call 3rd strike, 0 for 1. Paul Sewald in his 2nd inning of relief. Matt Harvey pulled after 4 innings and 58 pitches after giving up 3 home runs. Mets have lost Neil Walker to injury. The Mets announced that Walker suffered a left leg injury. They were not more specific than that, and then they'll have an MRI tomorrow.
Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it's a leg injury.
Grounded weakly. Waiting on it is Rivera. And he throws out the slow-footed Montero for the second out. Well, I mean, watching the play, he grabbed the back of his left leg. I mean, that's a hamstring area, but the Mets, for whatever reason, declined to call it a hamstring. They're just saying left leg injury. It appears we are devolving into hockey terminology where they describe an injury as a lower body injury. We're going in that direction. So Sewald's retired 5 in a row in relief without the ball leaving the infield. Sewald pitching for the first time in 5 days and looking pretty fresh.
He's done a nice job. Had that one rough outing where he got rocked, but he's been very solid out of the pen.
John Jay had a base hit his last time up, 1 for 2. And he breaks his bat as he loops one into shallow left, and that'll fall for a base hit. So a fortunate hit for Jay as he got sawed off and has his second hit of the night.
Well, it is sawed off. You look at it inside out. That's your classic inside out.
What's more important about that hit with 2 outs is that it brings up Schwarber.
Well, Schwarber hit one as far as anybody has ever hit one to right center field in this ballpark, beyond the Shea Bridge.
This is a good matchup for Schwarber, low ball pitcher.
It was Schwarber's 12th home run of the year and the Cubs' 3rd of the night. And this is what it looked like.
Well, he got a pitch right down the pipe in the wheelhouse.
Remember, as a rookie, he hit one on top of the scoreboard in right field at Wrigley and stayed there. And they put a little box on top of it.
Yeah, hit the Budweiser sign on top of the scorers. I mean, just remarkable home run. Off Kevin Segrest, I believe, left-hander for the Cardinals.
Now Sewald behind on Schwarber 2-0. Popped up into shallow left. Might have gotten away with one there. Granderson puts it away, and that retires the side. 2 scoreless innings in relief for Paul Sewald. Mets will go back to work in the bottom of the 6th, down by a run.
The Cubs tied in the 6th. But who's that crossing in front of their dugout? It's not Lady Luck. When Garrett comes to the plate, the heat is on. It's a single to right. But can Agee win the race to the plate? Safe. And Randy Hundley does a rain dance. The Cubs have lost it for their 5th straight defeat. What a night.
And the Cubs challenged the call. No, I'm only kidding.
Who was 49 for the Cubs, pitcher?
Bill Hands?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Not certain.
That was Satch Sanders. Was it Satch Davidson behind the plate?
Yes,
very young Satch Davidson.
Pedro Strop on in relief for the Cubs as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Curtis Granderson will lead off. And Strop misses up and away for ball 1.
Bullpen has been solid for the Cubbies. It's one of the strengths. Strop throws hard, but has got an excellent slider.
Granderson has hit him well. 3 hits and 7 at bats against the hard-throwing 32-year-old. And the slider misses. And Strop behind 2-0. We have confirmation. Number 49 for the Cubs was Bill Hands.
Very nice.
Paul Sewald with a helmet on, getting ready perhaps for a bunting appearance as Granderson goes around to the half swing. 2-1. Mets do have warm-up action up in the bullpen. Fernando Salas rosining up. 3 infielders on the right side against Granderson. And the fastball low and away at 96. 3-1. Reyes on deck, and then the pitcher's spot.
Strop sometimes reminds me of an older pitcher for the Cubs, Carlos Marmol, guy who had a good slider, not great control.
And that's ball 4. So some close fastballs from Strop, but Granderson draws the leadoff walk, and the Mets have the leadoff man on for the 4th time in 6 innings.
Strop kind of moaning and groaning on that call. Like we on the dugout saying, quit begging.
There's Michael Conforto set to grab a batting helmet. So Conforto, who has sat out the last 3 days with a sore back, looks like he is ready for a pinch hitting assignment. But if the Mets get the first 2 men on, they might leave Sewald in the bunt and save Conforto for later. We'll see.
Well, one thing's for sure,
Got to get someone in the box.
Matz is finished.
No. By the way, Met pitchers this year as pinch hitters are 2 for 3. DeGrom made an out, but Wheeler and Matz each have a hit. Wheeler had a double as a pinch hitter.
Right.
Yeah, they can laugh about it.
Oh, you got to love it if you got to hit. Ribeye steak.
Jake might get the hit before this game is over. You never know. Keep your spikes on, guys. Reyes has reached on an error and walked tonight, 0 for 1. Granderson at first, the tying run with nobody out. And Jose pulls one foul. 1-1. Strop's 28th appearance of the year. You know, there's been so much talk about the way Joe Maddon used Aroldis Chapman in the bullpen in the World Series. Part of it is because he lost a little faith in some of his other guys.
So, complete faith in Rondon and Strop. Both, in fact, after the season was done, had a little powwow with them in spring training to let them know.
Strop worked in 3 games, a total of 2 innings in the World Series after getting hit hard in the LCS against the Dodgers. And it's up and away, and after walking Granderson, he's fallen behind Reyes. 3-1. As we're down in this game 2-0 and 4-1. They got a couple of runs in the 4th, driven in by Matz and Lagares. And now trying to fight to get even here in the 6th. 3-1 coming, and Reyes fouls it away. Well, this time he was swinging 3-1. He took a 3-1 fastball for a strike the last time.
I thought that was a good swing too.
Would you send Granderson here?
Yes.
And time's called for it.
Woo! Would have been almost a balk.
Ball on the field.
Oh, okay.
Jay had to return it.
Time was called.
Umpires didn't realize it. I think it was Baez who finally threw up his hands, and they recognized that there was a ball on the field. Curtis does not run, and Reyes strikes out on the slider for the first out. So Stroke fell behind, but came back to get Reyes, one away, and now Michael Conforto will be the pinch hitter.
Down and in slider off the strike zone. Completely fools Jose. Well, a more conventional pinch hitter.
Conforto last played on Sunday when he went 2 for 4. Remember, he was pinch hit for in the 9th inning when Cespedes batted for him against a lefty, and that's the last time he played. After the plane ride home, came up with a stiff back, sat out last night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and not in the starting lineup tonight. So his first appearance since Sunday. And it's inside, ball 1.
Look at Rizzo really cheating there. Something I didn't like to do with speedy guys on the base. Truck horses, you could do that and get out there, and because they're not going to go anywhere. But Granderson's a threat to steal, even though they're down a run.
You know what he does, though, Keith, and the way he stands to me, is he kind of blocks the base. You've got to, if you go back into the base, you've got to go almost behind him.
You can go back and knock him for a loop, too.
Well, Curtis going to lose that one.
1-1 to Conforto. And he takes a strike. Michael did some pinch hitting early in the season. Remember, he wasn't a starting player when the year began. 3 for 6 as a pinch hitter. But now down in the count 1-2. Juan Lagares waits on deck.
You think he's cheating Rizzo to get some more coverage out in the hole, but he's not really busting off.
Slider misses, 2-2.
He's pretty much, what, 4 feet inside the line, Rizzo. And cheating, but not busting out into the hole. Just really taking one step out and getting in position to field. I wouldn't like that. I would want to have him on the bag.
2-2 coming. Slider struck him out. So Strop with back-to-back strikeouts of Reyes and Conforto after the leadoff walk, and there are 2 away.
Well, he's got a great slider. It's a wipeout slider, but he throws 95 plus. That's what sets it up.
It's a good one. Good down tilt under the bat. Yep. How did I know that? I'll tell you how I knew that. I got punched out a few times with those kind of sliders.
So it's left to Lagares, who's had another good night at the plate. 1 for 2 and a sacrifice fly. Granderson has 3 stolen bases this year.
And it's a good time to try it if you can get a jump. Try to get a steal here with 2 outs. You got top of the order if you get thrown out next inning.
Back in the 2nd inning, Granderson was on the move when the Mets had 1st and 3rd. And Reyes hit the ground ball to Bryant that he booted for an error. And brought in the first Met run. Strop trying to get around the leadoff walk. And Lagares fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Lucas Duda would be next.
Folks, watch Strop when he comes to the set. Most guys come around the belly button, maybe to their belt. His is head high, right from there.
Driven to center field. Almora chasing back, way back. It's over his head. Granderson around 3rd. He'll score the tying run. Lagares heads for 3rd. He's got an RBI triple, and the Mets have tied the game at 4.
Boy, Keith, Juan's on a nice stretch, isn't he?
Getting an opportunity to play. Fastball up and away. Almora playing a little bit too shallow. Didn't quite get there.
On an 0-2 pitch, Lagares beats Almora to dead center for his first triple of the year. And the Mets, who've been behind from the first pitch of this game, finally get even.
take for granted how much room Juan Lagares covers in center field. I thought Almora was going to get that for a second.
Watch Lagares cut the corner. He is the best of all the Mets cutting corners. He doesn't bow out. He cuts them real tight.
His 16th career triple, his first this season. Now Duda up for the second time. Grounded out in the fourth inning. Strop throws the fastball by him, 1-1.
Well, 0-2 pitch. You only blame yourself.
Duda 0 for 3 in his career against Strop. Fastball down 2-1. Strop getting a little discombobulated now. Looked like he had found his way through it after the leadoff walk. Struck out Reyes, struck out Conforto, got ahead on Lagares 0-2.
Just couldn't quite get out of the woods.
Got to anticipate that slider in the dirt if you're Lagares on third.
2-2 to Duda. Well, Lagares getting a chance to play. The combination of the injury woes for Cespedes and Conforto and a string of lefties that the Mets are facing, and Juan taking full advantage. 2 hits, 2 RBIs tonight. 2-2 coming to Duda. Tied him up with a slider, but he missed, and it's 3-2. Wilmer Flores would be next. Strop about to throw his 25th pitch of the inning. Go ahead run at third with 2 down. Ball 4. Not far enough away from Montero for Lagares to make a break, but Duda is on. And now runners at the corners for Wilmer Flores. Second walk of the inning.
What a good block by Montero. Kind of heaves his body, glove, hip, arm, everything to his right, and catches enough of that slider to keep Lagares at third. Well, you get a lot of reactions from Strop, don't you, in his inning of work?
So now Wilmer, who's 0 for 3 tonight, hit 1 ball hard. Schwarber made a nice shoestring catch of a line drive back in the third. Wilmer 0 for his last 10. Bats here with first and third and 2 out. And he takes the fastball off the plate for ball 1. By the way, Juan Lagares on May 10th was hitting 189. He's up to 278 now. It's been a nice run for Juan. Flores has been hot for a month and a half, but trying to snap an 0 for 10 stretch right now. Strop throws a fastball by him, 1-1. And Wilmer fouls back the fastball, 1-2. Jay Bruce would be next. The Mets are just 1 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. The only hit,
Steven Matz. Well, I had my say in the booth, and Steven shut me up, so it was perfect.
1-2 coming, and Wilmer lays off the slider, 2-2. Justin Grimm up now in the Chicago bullpen. He was up earlier, but it was Strop who Joe Matt went to here in the 6th. His 30th pitch of the inning coming to Flores, and he tries to hold, but he went around on the slider, strike 3. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Strop, but the Mets get even on the Juan Lagares RBI triple. 4-4 going to the 7th. Beautiful night in New York. After all the heat the last 3 days, just a perfect day today. Temperature got to about 80 degrees. It's about 70 now. Perfect night for a ball game. Mets were down from the first pitch of the game when Anthony Rizzo homered, but they have pulled back even. In-game box score for the Cubs brought to you by Infinity and Power the Drive. Rizzo and Happ back-to-back homers to start the night off Matt Harvey. Kyle Schwarber added a tape measure 2-run shot later, but the Mets have evened them now.
Nice job by Paul Sewald. 4 ground balls and a strikeout.
And now Fernando Salas will pitch the 7th.
32nd game for Fernando.
He hasn't been in since Saturday afternoon in Atlanta when he was greeted by a Brandon Phillips home run. It has been an up and down year for Salas, but well rested tonight, and he generally has done much better with more rest. Javier Baez to lead off. Jason Hayward on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher. And Baez takes off the plate for ball 1. Baez 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 5 in this series. Mets will keep the bullpen busy. Jerry Blevins is up now. Perhaps for Hayward. Certainly for Rizzo. Good high fastball by Salas, 1-1.
You were saying an up and down season for Salas, mostly up in the beginning of the season. Up and in the game.
Up and at him. There's Hayward on deck. Behind him is Almora, the right-hand hitting number 9 batter, and then Rizzo due up 4th in the inning. Baez back to his chasing ways.
Gary, remember this words of wisdom: a leopard never changes its spots.
So none of us can change ever. That's a scary thought, Keith. We all try for self-improvement in certain ways.
Just saying. Baseball is an entirely different program.
Well, Baez this year, 9 walks, 49 strikeouts. Lots of power, but don't let to throw him strikes when you get ahead.
I mean, every time I look up, everybody has 10 home runs.
Yeah.
Everybody. You're hitting 180, 240, 300.
That's what they want.
At least 10.
1-2 coming. Popped it up. Shallow left field. Granderson charging in. Reyes going out. And it's Granderson to make the catch. 1 away. Get to Citi Field Saturday when the Mets take on the Nationals at 4:10. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets bucket hat courtesy of Gulf Oil. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Jason Hayward now will pinch hit for the pitcher, Strop. Hayward started the first 2 games of the series with 3 for 8, including a 2-run homer last night, his 6th of the year. By the way, we were speculating about what the Mets would do if Neil Walker has to go on the DL. News from Vegas that Gavin Cecchini was scratched from the Las Vegas lineup tonight. So that might provide a clue.
Means he's packing his bags and on the airplane as soon as ASAP.
Cecchini has been playing second base this year, which seems to be a better position for him than shortstop. The problem is he hasn't hit this year the way he has in the past.
Well, I saw Tim Tuffle in spring training working with Cecchini, it seemed like, every day on the backfields at second base.
He's hitting .249 with 3 home runs this year. Not impressive numbers in the Pacific Coast League, but swung the bat pretty well when he came up for a trial last year, and looks like he may be here shortly. Hayward takes the off-speed pitch for a strike, 1-1. Dave Fried informed me the red eye from Vegas leaves at 11:20.
Oh, he knows that.
Pacific time.
He knows that because he's been on it.
Yes, he has.
11:20.
Well, it's only 6:12 on the West Coast now.
I think he's saying 11:20 arrival in
trying
New York.
to figure out when it arrives.
No, he's saying it leaves 11:20 Vegas time tonight.
So yeah, but we're worried about the arrival time in New York.
Well, we'll get here in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's more important than when you leave.
7 o'clock.
Because you got to play the next day.
That's a night game.
Jeez.
Take it now. 1-2 off the corner. 93 from Salas. Have we seen that before this year?
In the beginning of the year.
Albert Almora, the number 9 hitter on deck. Cubs 4 runs, 5 hits. The Mets 4 runs, 7 hits. All Seawall 2 scoreless innings in relief after Matt Harvey left after only 4. Just missed inside, 3-2. Is it just me, or is Ryan Addison's strike zone shrinking by the inning?
No, because what has happened is the guys are throwing it down. He's not calling a down pitch. He's giving you the inches off the plate in and away. But the ball down, he's a tall umpire. He's not calling.
Hayward strikes out. 2 down. Good change up by Salas to get him. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. Go to pix11.com/team travel for great deals on Mets away games from cheapoair.com. So let's see, it's both of you the next 2 nights.
Yeah.
Then Ronnie alone Saturday and Sunday. Keith on the West Coast, and then Ronnie in Miami.
In Miami, yes. So weekend off out east. Very nice, Keith.
Yeah. I'll take it.
You notice a day off for us in San Francisco, which I know Keith likes.
Yes.
Get to hang out with your brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And my nephew and niece have rare family time in San Francisco. So that's very nice.
You got to include Marion.
Of course. My brother's wife of what, 30, I don't know how many years plus. That's a better way to put it.
Bless her.
I don't know how she did it.
Of course, in Oakland tomorrow, they'll have the parade for the Dubs.
Oh, that's right.
The title they were supposed to win last year.
Well, you know. When I lived on the West Coast, I used to be a season ticket holder for the Warriors when they were as bad could be. But my kids became Warrior fans because of those games we would go to.
Now Moore hits one up the middle for a 2-out hit. And I would suppose we'll now see Blevins come in to face Rizzo. So Salas retired the first 2. Almora gets aboard, and here comes Terry to bring in his best lefty.
Almora swings a pretty good bat. Out over the plate. Look at the eye right on the ball. Nothing wrong with that.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. More science, less fear. Tie game in the 7th. Blevins in to face Rizzo when we come back.
well.
He's been unquestionably the Mets' best reliever in 2017, and he's had a couple of days off. Jerry Blevins takes the mound with 2 out, a runner at first to face the red-hot Anthony Rizzo.
Well, we mentioned it before when Rizzo hit the first pitch from Harvey for a home run. 42 first pitch home runs. Big choice here for Blevins.
And he starts him off with a fastball for ball 1.
Misses in.
Rizzo hit the first pitch of the game from Matt Harvey over the fence in left center for his 2nd consecutive leadoff home run. Since then, he's grounded out and taken a call 3rd strike. 0 for 4 in his career against Blevins. Almora, a fast man at first with 2 out. And a fastball misses high. It's 2-0.
Wow.
That's got to be a strike there.
He's asking if it was up. I didn't think it was up, so that means it had the corner.
Ian Happ, a switch hitter, much better left-hand hitter. He's on deck. Blevins behind 2-0. And Rizzo takes a fastball strike. So 3 fastballs in a row from Jerry. And he wants a new baseball.
It's interesting that baseball, when you saw it come in, it really cut across the plate late.
Sure,
That's why Jerry threw it out, because he wants to make sure he gets a ball that he can control. He can't throw a 2-1 pitch that, I mean, it's nasty, but
makes me think he wants to pitch him inside. Ron doesn't want that thing to run over the middle.
First curveball, and Rizzo gets out ahead of it and fouls it off 2-2.
Well, the off speed got him out in front, and we've seen him go down on one knee before. Last night did the same thing off Wheeler.
It's an Adrian Beltre play.
Yeah.
Now comes back with a curveball here.
Yes, I think that's the pitch, but out of the strike zone.
Big choke up again. They're coming inside.
Fastball in.
And that just missed. 3-2.
Maybe the fastball in on 2-2, Gary, to set up the 3-2 curveball.
But he didn't get it in, though.
No.
He missed down and over the middle. So that kind of eliminates that.
Duda will play behind Almora at first. He'll be running now, carrying the go-ahead run. 3-2, 2 out. And the curveball foul. And they'll do it again.
And I'm out front.
Well, I think that's one of the strengths of Jerry, is that not only is his breaking ball big, but it's so much velocity taken off.
It's like Viola's curveball, Frank Viola's curve.
Sid Fernandez.
Another one.
Why not? Struck him out. Blevins dials back the curveball and fans Rizzo side retired. Tough man to strike out, but Blevins gets his man. Stretch time. Mets and Cubs tied at 4. Jerry Blevins getting another left-hand hitter out with that curveball.
Well, the pitch sequence, I thought the first 2 pitches were strikes. Fastball in, not called a strike. Fastball away. I thought they both were strikes. So he gets behind 2-0, gets a cut fastball that works for him. Hung a curve, but was out in front was Rizzo. And then once he got the 3-2, threw two curveballs, and the last one so slow that it had Rizzo out in front.
So that keeps it a tie game going to the bottom of the 7th. Let's check out the Mets box score brought to you by Infinity. Power the drive. Juan Lagares, a big night, a sac fly, and an RBI triple that tied the game for the Mets. Steven Matz with the pinch hit, bases loaded infield hit. That got the Mets a run. Jay Bruce leads off against Carl Edwards in the home 7th. First pitch curveball is fouled off.
Well, with a single number 6. This young man is quite a talent. You see his numbers. Hitters are 77 for 75 off him this year.
Normally I'm a little perturbed at pitchers wearing single numbers, but in the case of Carl Edwards, I'm not sure 2 numbers would fit on his frame.
That's right.
The string bean slinger. 6'3", 170 pounds. Maybe.
Stroman's number 6 for Toronto, isn't he?
That's because he's not tall enough for 2 numbers.
Okay.
But Mike Leake is also number 8 for the Cardinals.
Okay.
Well, no, you just answered my question. I was going to have you bring up some guys with single digits.
That's driven down the right field line. Foul. Josh Tomlin, doesn't he wear a single digit?
7.
7. So there are a few of them around. Bruce, then T.J. Rivera and Travis d'Arnaud against Edwards in the home 7th. And Bruce goes down swinging on the curveball in the dirt. Montero chases him down and makes the tag. And that's the 8th strikeout for Cubs pitching tonight. One down in the home 7th. Around the majors brought to you by Volkswagen. The Marlins have now won 13 of their last 19. The Braves take 2 of 3 from the Nationals, who come in here reeling, having lost 5 of 6. Red Sox lead the Phillies, who are in danger of their 8th straight loss. Rockies trying to get back on the beam after losing 3 in a row. Ian Desmond with a home run has them in front of the Pirates. Here's T.J. Rivera, 2 singles and reached on an error. 2 for 3 tonight. And he lines one to center field. Coming on is Almora. And that's the 2nd out. So Edwards has retired his first 2. And now we'll take on Travis d'Arnaud.
Carl Edwards is so skinny, his hat even looks like it's too big for him.
Edwards first signed with the Rangers. He came to the Cubs in the deal that sent Matt Garza to Texas. Neil Ramirez was also part of that deal. d'Arnaud is 0 for 3 tonight. Last time up, he drove one in deep right field. John Jay made a terrific catch going back right near the fence to take an extra base hit away from him. Flied out to center. Easy play for Almora. And so Edwards comes in and throws a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. On to the 8th, still tied at 4. Discover sales event, an uphill climb for the Mets tonight. They were down from the first pitch of the game. Down 2-0, down 4-1, but 2 in the fourth, and the Juan Lagares RBI triple in the sixth, getting them back even. Now we're in the eighth, and Jerry Blevins, who came in to get the final out of the seventh, will stay on. He'll get a couple of right-hand bats to start. Ian Happ, the switch hitter, and then Chris Bryant, and then the lefty Miguel Montero.
Well, we've done a lot of talking about the six-man rotation and pushing the starters a little longer. Well, Jerry Blevins is being pushed a little longer here in this game.
Happ hit a home run back in the first inning, batting left-handed. He does not have a home run yet in the big leagues, batting right-handed, and he's hitting just 158 as a right-hand hitter. Last night he became the youngest Cubs switch hitter ever to hit a grand slam. And that covers a lot of territory since the Cubs have been around since 1876.
Yeah, right.
I think so.
Chris Bryant on deck, then Miguel Montero.
Who had the record?
I'll have to look that up. I think he broke the record by 9 days, being the youngest. Grounded down to Flores. He bobbles, but has it. Low throw, and Duda scoops it out of the dirt to get Happ. One away.
Wilmer comes in, get the short hop. Just lucky that ball came up in his glove. Nice scoop by Lucas. Very adept over at first with those Wilson pickets. Well done. Nice backhand.
I have the answer for you.
Sorry, Jared.
The youngest previous Cubs switch hitter was Larry Corcoran, who was 9 days older in 1882 when he hit a grand slam. So there you go.
Wow. Thank you.
Here's Chris Bryant. 0 for 3 tonight. He's had a rough night in the field as well. Now facing Blevins. He's only had one career at bat against Jerry. 0 for 1. And the first pitch curveball bends in for a strike. Mets tilting the infield more to the left against Bryant than they have previously in this series.
Soft tosser, big curveball, off speed, more apt to pull the ball. Total agreement with the defensive placement.
And another curveball and another strike, and it's 0-2.
Saw the good curveball by Montgomery earlier in the game. Really a middle finger curveball. Both fingers on the ball there. Middle finger and pointer finger of Blevins.
And he struck him out. 3 curveballs, and Bryant is done. 2 men down.
Boy, not a good at bat at all for Bryant. Completely befuddled by the old wrinkle here. Off speed wrinkle. Could not make an adjustment. Out in front on all 3 breaking balls.
Well, now Wilson Contreras is going to pinch hit for Miguel Montero. Addison Reed is up. So the question is, do you bring in Reed for the 4-out save at this point, or do you stay with Blevins with 2 out and nobody on?
Reed is not throwing 100% yet.
No.
So he's throwing. He just started throwing.
Yep, he's not coming in.
So he's not coming in.
And yet Darno is spending a lot of time out at the mound, perhaps to buy him some time.
You can't buy him that much time. I'll tell you that.
No, you can't.
He's a quarter of the way to where he's got to be.
And he's not rushing. You know, if it's an emergency situation, those relievers, they get up there and throw as fast as they can.
Also, it's a tie game.
Yeah.
If it were a Met lead, I think you would definitely bring Reed in at this point.
There you go.
So Contreras, who started the first 2 games of this series, went 1 for 8. Faces Blevins, who has not gone more than an inning this year. He has already gone an inning in this outing, trying to get to an inning and a third if he gets through Contreras. And a fastball away for ball 1. Like the Mets, the Cubs have a 4-man bench. And like the Mets, there is a health issue on their bench. Ben Zobrist has a sore wrist and might not be available. And the curveball misses. 2-0. Dangerous spot here on 2-0 against Contreras. And he throws the curveball. Contreras went around in the half swing. Mike McClinsky with the call, and it's 2-1.
Well, a guess by Contreras said he's going to get the 2-0 fastball. He did not from Blevins, and that's why he was fooled.
That's a big turnabout in this at bat. Should have been 3-0. Instead, it's 2-1. John Jay, another left-hand hitter on deck, and yet another lefty behind him with Schwarber. 2-1 coming, and the fastball away. 3-1. So how careful do you want Jerry to be in this spot with a lefty on deck?
You know, I'd be very careful.
Yes.
Very careful.
I mean, what do you do if you're Madden right there? Do you stick with Jay? I wouldn't.
And the 3-1 curveball is in for a strike. Contreras heading to first base is going to have to come back.
That's a strike, too, on the outside corner. That's a strike.
Keith, the problem with pinch hitting for Jay is it would probably use his last player.
Yeah.
If Zobrist isn't available, then he only has Russell
I
left.
hear you. I hear you. So that's all the more reason for them to be Blevins to be extremely careful.
3-2 coming, and the curveball in there. Strike 3 call. Side retire. Blevins faces 4, retires 4 with 3 strikeouts in his longest outing of the season. Little extra lifting for Blevins, and now the Mets will go to work in the bottom of the 8th to try and get themselves a lead. Curtis Granderson, 299 career home runs. He'd like to get to a big round number as he comes to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Mets and Cubs tied at 4. Jerry Blevins does his job. Now the Mets go to work in the bottom of the 8th. Curtis Granderson leads off against Carl Edwards and takes a curveball for a strike. Edwards worked a 1-2-3 7th. Wilson Contreras, who pinch hit, is now catching him. Granderson has an infield hit in Milwaukee. Scored 2 runs tonight. And Curtis takes one in the dirt. 1-1. Jose Reyes on deck, and then the pitcher's spot, and you have to assume that Yoenis Cespedes is available to pinch hit. Terry Collins said before the game that it was merely a day off for Cespedes and that he would start getting ready in the 5th inning for a potential pinch hitting assignment. Curveball in for a strike. 3 curves in a row, and it's 1-2.
There he is. He's got the armor on.
Batting gloves, elbow pad, bat. He's got all his tools. Even the sleeve. 1-2 coming. Up high, 2-2.
You have to think the way that Edwards has started this at bat that Granderson's going to have to get a hit off the curveball.
And Curtis hits one down the right field line, headed toward the corner. It's out of here! Curtis Granderson gives the Mets the lead. His 300th career home run. What a spot for a big round number, and the Mets lead it 5-4. Fans want a curtain call.
Third home run that Edwards has given up this season.
He wanted to get the curveball away, and he left it over the middle. Nice hitting, Curtis. Congratulations.
Wrapped it around the foul pole.
And a big one. Big one.
Mets lead for the first time tonight.
Don't throw it.
That's something. 300 bombs.
And this one putting his team in front in the bottom of the 8th inning. Inside to Reyes, and it's 3-0. Cespedes on deck to pinch hit. Mets were down for most of the night. They tied it in the 6th, and now Granderson gives them the lead in the 8th. And ball 4 to Reyes. And now Cespedes will come up to pinch hit with a man on. There's nobody up in the Cubs bullpen behind Carl Edwards.
Wonder if that home run rattled the youngster just a bit.
Yeah,
had to. Entire infield and pitching coach Chris Bosio coming out to talk to Edwards.
Cespedes is coming off the disabled list. 5 hits and 11 at bats, including that grand slam in Atlanta in his first game back. Last night he was 2 for 2 and then came out of the game after the Mets fell far behind. Scheduled day off today. Scheduled to play the next 3 games against the Nationals. And getting the pinch hitting assignment here in the 8th inning tonight.
Well, Kevin Long and Granderson have been together for quite some time, both in pinstripes. Granderson, I think, was instrumental and lobbied for K. Long to come over for the Mets to hire him.
So anything better than hitting a big number like that and putting your team ahead, meaning something.
Was those Yankee years that got him pointed toward 300, and now he reaches it as a Met with his 7th this season. So here's Cespedes against Edwards with Reyes at first and nobody out. And he goes after the first one. Reyes just gets the hand back in ahead of the throw by Contreras. Ugly cut by Cespedes on that first pitch up and away.
Contreras has got quite an arm, but Jose was back plenty of time.
And he loves to show it off.
Yes,
too.
he does.
Cespedes fouls it back. Fastballs from Edwards after throwing all breaking stuff to Granderson. He gets ahead on Cespedes with 2 fastballs, 0-2. Juan Lagares, who's had a big night, is on deck. Addison Reed up in the bullpen, getting ready for a save chance. Cespedes trying to give him a little more breathing room. Reyes 9 stolen bases in 10 tries this year as he closes in on 500 for his career.
Fans are into
this one.
Why wouldn't you be?
It has been a vastly entertaining game.
What a game.
Hasn't all been good for the Mets. Harvey struggled. Walker got hurt, but the Mets have battled back. 1-2 to Cespedes.
Got a little cut on that fastball from Edwards to the right-handed hitter.
Cespedes has had just one prior at bat against Edwards, who had himself an easy 7th inning, but a rough start to the 8th with Granderson's go-ahead home run. Then the walk to Reyes. 1-2 to Cespedes. Line the other way, a base hit. Reyes pulls it at second, and the Mets have 2 on and nobody out. Cespedes comes through as the pinch hitter, and now they will run for him.
That's just good hitting, and we've seen Cespedes do this with 2 strikes, use the opposite field. Cutter, but belt high, beautiful hitting.
Robert Gazelman will run for Cespedes at first base. So a successful pinch hitting assignment for Cespedes. The very athletic Gazelman pinch running. And Joe Madden making his way out of the dugout, and that's going to be all for Edwards, who had a great 7th but couldn't get anybody out in the 8th. And now they'll go to Hector Rondon to try and settle things down. Mets have taken the lead here in the 8th. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. More science, less fear. It's the best way to start your weekday. Join the award-winning Pix 11 news team with breaking news, traffic, and sports, plus the latest weather reports to keep you in the know. Mornings from 5 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, New York's very own. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by the Ram Drive and Discover sales event going on now. Hector Rondon will try and clean up the mess for the Cubs, with the Mets having taken the lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Rondon's a little bit like Strope for the Cubbies. He can come in and blow you away, and then other times his control can be an issue, although only 9 walks in 23 2/3 innings pitched.
That's a first and second and nobody out. How do you play this if you're Terry Collins?
Gary, I want to disagree with you. I'm going to bunt with Lagares, set up first and second and third, and if they want to walk Lucas and load him, fine for Flores. I'll take my chances with Flores with the bases loaded.
Lagares has been swinging the bat very well. We'll see what Terry decides. The runner goes, and Reyes steals third without a throw.
Wow.
That was on his own. Gazelman did not follow him. And Reyes has his 10th stolen base, career steal number 498.
You can't fault Gazelman here. That's a terrific jump, and the Cubs have just been sleeping.
I mean, they fell asleep. They didn't keep him close to second base.
So now the Mets have an insurance run at third, and the Cubs are playing the infield back at double play depth.
I'd let
willing to concede an insurance run.
I agree. I would let Lagares hit now.
Now they're coming in.
Yep. Let Lagares hit.
And Lagares swings at the slider, and it's 0-2.
Well, Lagares already has 2 hits and a sacrifice fly in this game. He already has an 0-2 triple in this game.
Last time up in the 6th inning against Pedro Strop, hit one over Almora's head in center field for the triple to tie the game. Reyes at third, Gazelman the pinch runner at first with nobody out.
Everything's going to be away from Rondon. Try to hit that hole between first and second.
He bounces the slider. Contreras smothers it. 1-2. Lagares in one of his better hot streaks as a Met. Eleven hits in his last 26 at bats. One-two from Rondon, and he fouls it away. 97 on that fastball. Pitching staff working overtime today. Blevins is longest out of the year. Matt's a pinch hitting assignment. Gazelman a pinch running assignment.
Starting pitchers, 3 games played today.
All hands on deck. 1-2 coming. Fouled away. Harris looking to right field.
That's the play. Rondon throws hard, has a good hard slider. But unless he makes a mistake, he usually doesn't come inside the right-handers. Lagares choked up, it looks like, too.
It's a trend.
It's going viral, Keith.
And Lagares lines one at the shortstop. Baez throws to first, and Gazelman gets back.
Boy, that was a lot of hair coming back to first base.
So Lagares retired on the soft liner for the first out, and Gazelman able to fly back into the bag.
Oh, my goodness. Check this out, folks. Oh, nice. Just not enough.
Robert Plant, safe at first.
Jeez.
I think it helps his aerodynamics.
Woo. What a mop.
So now 1 out. Runners at first and third. Miguel Montero looking into the Cubs dugout, wants to know if Joe Maddon wants them to walk Duda.
No.
And they will not.
Go after him. Double play. Get a ball on the ground.
Lucas is grounded out and walked. You got Flores on deck with the right-hander on the mound. And the fastball inside to Duda.
Oh, palm ball. Yep.
From Rondon. Didn't get it as far in as he wanted, but Lucas fouled it off 1-1. Duda 0 for 3 in his career against Rondon. Trying to at least pick up Reyes from third base after Reyes stole third. Again, they set up inside. And it's 2-1.
He's throwing it up there. He's reaching back for something extra. It's a big out right here. So he's got all he can give right now. He's bringing it. Sack fly.
Duda homered last night, his 11th of the year. Fouls back the changeup, 2-2.
That was one that Lucas wants back.
He went with his third pitch. You don't usually see that from a reliever in this kind of situation. They always tell you don't want to get beat with your third pitch.
Like Mark Wohlers against Jim Leyritz.
There you go. There's been plenty since then too.
That's what I always think of.
That's right.
Two coming. And
Another one
takes outside. Another changeup, 3-2.
I just don't agree with that pitch.
So now, do you run Gesellman?
No.
To try to stay on the double play?
No,
definitely not.
Lucas is a strikeout guy,
and he's struggling too.
And those two changeups away, I think, are going to set up the fastball or slider in. I think slider down and in is the pitch.
3-2 coming. He lofts one to right field, back toward the wall. Jay at the fence. It's out of here! Lucas Duda with a 3-run homer.
You don't see Lucas smile too often.
Want to turn it back for Duda. He homers for the second straight day, his 12th of the year, and the Mets now lead 8-4.
Only in the game because of the injury to Neil Walker. Biggest swing of the night.
Two change-ups ahead in the count to make it full, then tries to throw him a slider. And he's rubbing up a new one.
And Flores gets dusted off.
I don't think so. I think it was a breaking ball.
Slider.
Ahead in the count, 1-2, and gets it to 3-2. Nice at bat by Lucas. I can't agree with the pitch selection by Rondon.
And Flores bangs one up the middle to keep it going. The Mets' 4th hit of the inning.
You know, Keith, that's a common mistake by pitchers. Is what they'll do is that they'll pitch to get to the breaking ball, but then they'll throw a strike breaking ball when it's supposed to be the nasty one down and in.
Yeah, but it's 3-2. It changes the whole program.
That was a Kirk Gibson swing.
Yeah, it was a little out in front. You got that right.
Yeah,
very close.
Big man.
Yes, it was.
The problem with the difference was that Eckersley made a nasty pitch, and Gibson went out with one hand in that World Series.
Jay Bruce 1 for 4 tonight. So the Mets with 2 8th-inning home runs to break a 4-4 tie. Granderson gives them the lead, and Duda gives them a breathing room with a 3-run homer.
Now, do you use Reed now? Does he need work?
Line center field. That'll fall for a base hit. Flores around second. He'll stop there. 5 hits in the inning for New York. Bruce has his second hit of the night. So the Cubs, who've had a good bullpen this year, seeing their bullpen melt in the 8th inning. First Edwards and now Rondon.
Well, it was the Cubs home run in the first inning that were the story until this 8th, and the 2 home runs by the Mets.
Well, there'll be a lot of heroes in this game for the Mets. How about Sewald and Blevins and the job they did to get the Mets to this 8th inning tie? TJ Rivera 2 for 4 tonight. He's the 8th man up in the inning. DJ began this game at first base, moved to second when Walker got hurt. Walker suffering a left leg injury, running out a bunt in the 3rd inning. Carl Edwards started this inning. He's been charged with 3 runs. And that one's toward the middle, and TJ's got a base hit. Flores being waved around third. Almora's throw to the plate is cut off. TJ Rivera tacks on a run with an RBI single. A 5-run bottom of the 8th inning for New York. It's now 9-4. 3rd hit of the night for Rivera.
Welcome back. Fastball inner half, muscled up the middle. Isn't that funny how it works? You get set down, haven't played much, haven't been down very long. There's Wilmer on the run. No one there to tell him not to slide.
D'Arnaud, the 9th man up in the inning, and this is Rondon's inning to finish now. There's nobody up in the Cubs bullpen. Rondon retired his first hitter, Lagares, on a soft liner to short, but then the 3-run homer by Duda and 3 straight singles after that. Josh Edgin now up alongside Reed. Mets now with a 5-run lead, so it's hard to believe that Reed will be called upon unless Edgin were to come in and get in trouble.
With the Nationals coming in.
D'Arnaud's 0 for 4 tonight, and he takes a rip at a slider, and it's 0-2. Curtis Granderson, who led off this inning with his 300th career home run, is now on deck. Bruce at second, Rivera at first with 1 out. And Travis pulls one out. Nice backhand stop by Bryant. Out at third, and the throw to first into the runner, but they get him for the double play that ends the inning. Bryant saves an extra base hit with a nice backhand pick and starts a 5-5-3 double play. But a huge inning for the Mets. They come into the bottom of the 8th in a tie game. Granderson and Duda with home runs. Mets put up a 5 spot, and they lead 9-4 going to the 9th at Citi Field. Reed will come on with a 5-run lead as we go to the 9th inning.
Well, he hasn't pitched since Sunday, but not an unusual move, a move we've seen before. But with the Nationals coming in, I thought he would not use Reed, but Reed's in the game.
Well, especially since Edgin was up, and there are 2 left-hand hitters to start the inning with Jay and Schwarber.
Well, maybe the manager just doesn't want to get in a position where Reed's got to come in with 3 or 4 runners in and wants to use his bats, because this could be one of those games that gets you going right before you face the team you're chasing.
So Reed, who got the save on Sunday in the Mets 2-1 win in Atlanta with a very nifty 1-2-3 inning, takes on John Jay, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Now this is going to be quite the game to unpack. It started out with back-to-back home runs by Anthony Rizzo and Ian Happ against Matt Harvey, who gave up 3 home runs in 4 innings of work. Mets were down 4-1. They got a pinch hit single from Steven Matz in a bases loaded situation in the 4th inning to help them get closer. Juan Lagares hit the triple that got them tied in the 6th. And now Jay has his 3rd hit of the night to start the 9th inning.
Right.
Our next Picks telecast will be Saturday when the Mets take on the Nationals. Coverage begins at 3:30 with Spectrum Picks pregame right here on New York's very own Picks 11. Of course, along the way, the Mets lost Neil Walker to a leg injury. Curtis Granderson and Lucas Duda with 8th inning home runs to give the Mets a formidable lead. And now Addison Reed, brought into a non-save situation, gives up a leadoff hit. Here's Schwarber, who hit a monstrous home run back in the 4th against Harvey, and first pitch swinging, fouls it off. And quickly 0-2 to Schwarber, with Javier Baez now on deck. Coming up next on Pix 11, it's the Pix 11 News.
Oh,
on SNY, it's WB Mason postgame live. Oh, 2 from Reed, and Schwarber grounds one through the hole, a base hit. Jay pulls in at second, back-to-back base hits to start the 9th inning.
Well, you certainly don't want an inning here where you're going to have Reed throw, into the 20s in pitches.
But what's your option? If he gets in trouble, who's the next guy? Right. That's why, to me, you had to have Edgen start the inning. What?
I think Reed's in.
Yeah, there's nobody up now.
Whatever happens.
Here's Javier Baez, who's 0 for 3. Pitcher spot due up next. Addison Russell out on deck to pinch hit behind Baez. So Reed trying to settle in. He's throwing nothing but strikes. 0-1 base hit by Jay. 0-2 base hit by Schwarber. 8 hits now for the Cubs, 13 for the Mets. And Baez takes a slider out of the strike zone, ball 1. Cubs have had only 1 at bat before this with a runner in scoring position all night. That was back in the 1st inning.
Runs have come via the home run.
Foul back, 1-1. Baez 0 for 2 in his career against Reed. And he tries to hold, and he stopped it in time. Close call. 2-1. Reed, who used to pitch on the south side of Chicago, trying to set down the north siders. Two 2-1 coming. There's a strike. 93 from Reed.
Let it go, didn't he?
2-2 to Baez. Jay at second, Schwarber at first, and nobody out. 2-2 coming. Fly ball, center field. Lagares angling in. Back goes Rivera, and Lagares has it all the way. Covers more ground than Greyhound.
If he can get it, you let him catch it. Look at this throwing at the bat.
I know. Yep.
Almost hit his third base coach with it.
It's okay to run out a fly ball too. You know?
That's the second one he didn't run out, by the way.
So that's the first out of the inning. And now Addison Russell, the pinch hitter. Russell has started the first two games, 2 for 7, including a home run on Monday night. And Russell takes off the plate for ball 1. On deck. What you want to avoid if you're Addison Reed is getting to the guy behind Almora. That would be Anthony Rizzo. Foul back. And now Reed up count 1-2.
Only way the Cubs can come back is if you turn over the lineup.
Well, if the next two guys get on, then Rizzo would be the tying run. And that's what Reed has to at all costs avoid. 1-2 coming to Russell. Got him looking. 2-man down.
Boy, good pitch there. Very rarely does Reed use this pitch. It's that indoor slider. He'll throw it right at the right-handed hitter and bend it right over the middle. See where Darno's set up? And he cuts it right back over the middle of the plate. Splits the heart of the plate for the strikeout.
So now the Cubs are down to their final out. Albert Almora is 1 for 3 tonight. Slider out of the strike zone for ball 1. That's bullpen has provided 4 2/3 scoreless innings. Sewald, Salas, Blevins, and now Reed trying to put on the finishing touches. One to Almora. Up the middle, Rivera can't get it, base hit. Jay being held at third, and that'll load up the bases for Rizzo. As Lagares throws it on one hop into home plate. Gary Jones almost threw a rope around the waist of John Jay to stop him at third base. But Almora keeps it going with the third hit of the inning.
Wow.
And now Rizzo will bat with the bases loaded and 2 out.
Getting dicey. Ripped. Almora has quite a series. Throw it in.
Yeah, always throw it in.
Throw it in. Don't hang on.
Well, Rizzo can't tie the game. But if he can get on base, the Cubs would bring the tying run to the plate with Ian Happ on deck. Rizzo's 1 for 4 tonight. Hit the first pitch of the game for a home run. Reed attacks him, and it's grounded to second. Rivera's got it. And the ball game is over. A tremendous victory for the New York Mets as they fight their way uphill. Curtis Granderson's 300th career home run puts them over the top. Lucas Duda puts on the icing with a 3-run homer. The Mets get 5 innings of scoreless relief, and they take the rubber game from the Cubs 9-4.
Well, just an outstanding game to watch. Only 4 innings from the starting pitcher, Matt Harvey. Unbelievable job by the bullpen. Sewald, Blevins, and Reed all retired Rizzo after that first pitch home run. Some great offense late.
And the late offense, of course, was that 5-run 8th inning, and with the Mets sent 9 men to the plate, 6 hits, and the 2 home runs. A 3-run homer was the capper by Lucas Duda, his 12th, and Curtis Granderson, congratulations, his home run number 7 that put the Mets ahead, his 7th home run of the year.
And his 300th career home run. Game summary brought to you by Honda. Longest outing of the year for Jerry Blevins. He went an inning and a third, struck out 3 of the 4 batters he faced, and he gets the victory as the Mets win 9-4. Let's go downstairs to Steve Gilbs.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Curtis Granderson, home run number 300. Such a nice milestone in your career, but how much more meaningful is it when you can do it in that spot, give your team the lead?
It's amazing to get a chance to just be able to have done this, have great coaching staff that's allowed me the opportunity to continue to get better. Kevin Long, Pat Rossler, and the rest of the Mets coaching staff, and then our team for keeping us in the game today. Very tough ball club with the Cubs, and to be able to have a situation to win it at the end was great.
You mentioned Kevin Long and the rest of the coaching staff. Our cameras caught a really nice moment between the two of you. He's been such a big big part of your career. How instrumental is he in you reaching this milestone?
The biggest thing for him has been the confidence. I know no matter what happens each day, he comes in ready to work. He's always behind all our guys, no matter who happens to be in the lineup. No matter if you make it out and put a good swing on it, he's always the next guy to get you back up there. So it's always been great to have Kevin in our corner, and I've got a chance to be able to play with him on both sides, so it's been really cool.
Curtis, over the last month, you're hitting well over 300. For you, what has been the key to this recent stretch of play?
Just keep swinging the bat. You know, Kevin, like I talked about, you know, with the confidence, understanding that we got a lot of at-bats over the course of the season. A lot of things are going to happen, both good and bad, but as long as you continue to put yourself in a situation to be able to be positive and get good hits, you got a chance to get some good results.
Curtis Granderson, 300 home runs and a win tonight. Congratulations. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Gary, back to you.
Congratulations to Curtis. Huge home run as the Mets win it 9-4. Granderson's home run putting the Mets in front. It was the play of the game, brought to you by Spectrum. Get the Spectrum triple play today. All curveballs from Carl Edwards, and the last one winds up in the seats in right field. That put the Mets up 5-4. They go on to beat the Cubs 9-4. And Curtis, a well-earned and curt call from the Citi Field crowd. Mets take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.